up, Scoop Podcast? I'm your host, Erica Kruppen, and on today's episode, we have a very special guest. Courtney from San Diego Scoop Squad is in the house. We are in person. We were actually in Utah.
We are. It's beautiful.
What are we in Utah for?
We are in Utah for Anthony Salazar's wedding, and I'm so excited. It's just beautiful here, and it's beautiful to meet everyone.
Yeah. It's so crazy. I don't know about you, but I have been wanting this for a really, really long time. And I think it's so great that we all get to come together for not only Anthony's and Ashley's wedding, but we get to meet and hang out in person. We're all at the same hotel. Well,
for sure.
Everybody except for Donovan.
There's always one outlier.
He wanted to stay at the Motel 6, you guys.
It's a little cheaper.
But it's cool. He's here hanging out with us. So if you're over there watching on YouTube, we're actually in the koi pond area.
It's beautiful.
It's so nice. You guys can't see this, but maybe I'll have Mr. Producer put in some B-roll. But there's mountains just all around. And I'm from Michigan and we don't have mountains.
We have mountains in San Diego, but it's different. This is gorgeous.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I seen that you posted on Facebook and Instagram that this is your first vacation away from the business.
It is. It's been tough because all of my family lives on the East Coast,
Okay.
right? So to have a trip to the East Coast, I'm not going for a weekend, right?
Right.
It would have to be a week-long thing. So I've kind of avoided that because I didn't want to be away from the business, the logistics of everything. I didn't want to kind of deal with that. I didn't want to let customers down, which I know I probably wouldn't, but it's, as a business owner, you're like, I got to be here. So this is my first little mini trip in over 3 years.
Oh my gosh. So how did you feel leading up to it and preparing for it? Because I know there's a lot of scoopers out there that want to take vacations, but they feel like you said, like you're almost a prisoner to your business.
Yeah. Well, I am super lucky. I have the help of my husband. I've had the help of my husband this whole time. So he took over my Friday schedule so that I could travel. I do have a 4-year-old as well. So my parents are helping with that, as well as my husband. So I wasn't very nervous about it. I knew it would be fine, right? Like if it was a week-long trip, a little different, right? But I only took a day off from scooping and the business besides the weekend. So it was an easy transition to hopefully plan more trips.
I hope you go on many, many trips.
I'm going to Aruba next year.
Aruba, Bahama, come on, pretty mama. Are we going to drop the dates?
September, last week of September, I'm going to Aruba. My family goes there pretty much every year, and I haven't been there in 6 years.
Goodness. Josh, if you're watching this, which you don't ever watch my stuff, we need to go to Aruba, sir.
Last week of September.
That's
the only week you could go. So.
We need to schedule it. And it's actually, we're sitting here right now and we're looking across the distance and we can see Joshua and Anthony and then Anthony's friend.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name right now. Sorry.
Steve?
I don't know.
I think it might be Steve.
We have 2 Steves. We have Hoover Scooper Steven. Yep. So that was cool. Now, have you met Steven in person?
I haven't, but we did one of my lives on Instagram over 2 years ago now. So him and I chatted on there. So that was nice.
So what's going on with those lives? I heard you're going to bring them back.
I think people want me to bring them back.
We do.
But I didn't have as much interest, I guess you could say. It was hard to plan with the time differences with the different scoopers are in different areas. And I got busier, right? I'm in the field full time still. So it was hard to schedule those because it's live, right? It's not a recorded session, it's live. So it was tough.
I would say those, coming from somebody that does a lot of editing, and I've done the live streams, the lives are easier because you can just get people on. If nobody comes on, you just talk about whatever.
Okay.
And then you just have the content. You don't have to edit anything afterwards.
That's true.
So I think if you go into it with that mindset, and you could just have some of your viewers that are watching and just whoever's there and whoever's present, just bring them on.
Okay.
Because Cornell Mac with Mac Attack, he does that. And he'll just be talking by himself. If somebody hops on, he'll invite them. And then he just rapid fire interviews them right then and there. Boom, content.
I thought of doing that.
Do it.
Just kind of like myself going live and then whoever pops up, was like, hey, do you want to join me? And that could be a good start
Hmm.
to kind of bringing it back.
Yeah, and have your
So,
set of questions just so
yeah,
you can whatever, because it's great. And I personally like,
you were my first guest when I
was it on
did.
TikTok or was it
I was on
Instagram?
Instagram.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll do it again.
yeah.
And because I love seeing the female content
Me
too,
too.
because
Girl power.
there's not a lot of females that are doing home service content.
No, it's not a pretty, especially what we do. It's
Right.
not a pretty job. But I love being a woman in this business. I really do. I feel like, especially with the added factor of being a mom,
Yeah.
right? I know for me, I worked in corporate 15 years. You also worked in corporate for a long time. It was very different from what I was used to, but I kind of feel like a bad beep
Yeah.
doing
Right.
this. You know what I mean? And I want to show, for me personally, I want to show my daughter that she doesn't have to do something that's she thinks she has to do, or a traditional role or something like that. She can do whatever she wants to do.
No, I agree. So let's talk about that a little bit. How old was your daughter when you started the business?
She was 11 months.
11 months. So
Yeah.
yes. Goodness.
Yes.
So how has the progression been over the past, you said 3 years?
Yes. It's been very slow and steady. Like my business growth was slow and steady. But for me, I when I first started, I thought I was going to get a bunch of clients. I was a bit disappointed, impatient, but now looking back, it happened in a way that it was never this extreme growth where I didn't know how to handle it.
Right.
Right. I feel like that could happen if you get this huge influx of clientele and you don't know how to handle it. So we always handled it as it came, and it wasn't an issue. I had my husband's help, as I mentioned, so that helped. But I didn't have any family here to help with childcare or anything. So we kind of were always shifting our schedules, to make it work.
The pooper scooper shuffle.
Yeah, but we made it work, and we've been in business now for over 3 years. So
So I want to circle back when you were talking about thinking you were going to get a bunch of customers pretty quick and like the unrealistic expectations, because we were actually discussing this last night. Now my question to you is, because you watched a lot of my content in the beginning, right, on
I watched
YouTube.
all of your content.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Was that something that I did I give off that not persona, but that viewpoint? Is that something that you picked up for me?
No.
Because okay, because if that's the case, I want to make sure moving forward, I really do want to focus on the fact of this is like a slow burn, slow growth, especially if your market isn't warmed up and you don't have thousands and thousands of dollars to dump into marketing.
Right. Yeah.
So what did you have to dump into marketing?
So I stayed at my job. I worked in marketing for an electrical contractor while I started my business, and I stayed there for 8 months. After 8 months of being in business, quit my job to go full time. But I had that income. I wasn't spending thousands and thousands of dollars, but I was spending a good amount on, I tried Facebook ads, Google ads. So I had that kind of disposable income still coming in. It's not like I didn't have anything and I had, I was like boots on the ground.
Right. Because you have some people that come in and they have, a business background and they have extra money. And then you have some people that have no money.
Right.
Or you're in between, like us, to where we had a little bit of money, but nothing too crazy. And we're just trying to figure it out.
Figure out what works best, too.
Yes.
It's not the same in every market.
No. And especially if you don't have a warmed up market. And when we're talking about a warmed up market, that meaning that you already have businesses in the area that are providing this service, so others know that this service is available.
Right. And there were only a few when I started. So I knew I had work ahead of me to kind of spread awareness. And that's why I got on social media, to kind of post whatever I could post until I got clients. And then I had more content I could make. And just to spread awareness that we exist. Hey, we're here, And I feel like that helped for me to grow and build my local network with other small businesses as well.
What would you say one of your biggest struggles have been over the past year in business?
The past year, a lot of people moved. We lost a good amount of clientele in the beginning of the year, the first and second quarter of the year, because people were moving out of California. I get it. It's expensive. So that hurt, but it also helped knowing they weren't leaving because of us.
Right.
Right. They were leaving because they were physically leaving. But we've been able to build back up since then, so that there's ebbs and flows.
Yes.
Right. But when you don't have this massive clientele still, losing a few clients each month, it hurts, right? And you're like, what is going on?
Especially when they have that higher ticket price.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
that's the thing about it in San Diego. I do have a higher ticket price because I live in San Diego. We have a higher cost of living, so I have to charge accordingly.
Now, over the past year, what would you say has something that has gone really well that you're proud of?
Mm, that's a tough one. I have a problem thinking about the good stuff. Do you know what I'm
No, I
saying?
agree because
It's easy to think of the negative stuff.
our mind easily goes because the difficult stuff hurts.
Mm,
It's painful and it's like top of mind, and it makes it to where it overshadows the positive.
yeah, we might have to come back to that
That's
one.
okay. We can circle
Yeah.
back. So when we were chit-chatting earlier, you were talking about you're wanting to expand your business, you're wanting to grow, and you're wanting to give your people more hours. So
Yes.
so what is, if you don't mind sharing, like what's the plan to make that happen?
So the plan is to get another scoop vehicle,
Nice.
get that all branded, so it's like a walking billboard, um, or a driving billboard,
Yeah.
and give one of our techs more hours. She wants more hours. She's an amazing employee. I
Hmm.
hate saying the word employee. Do you say
Teammate.
employee? Teammate.
My teammate.
She's an amazing teammate. She goes above and beyond. She does things I don't even ask her to do.
It's wonderful.
So I want to give her more hours. And then when in doing so, I will get time back to get some time out of the field so that I could work on the business and not in the business.
Woo!
It's like that cliche, but it's a thing.
It's
A
so
thing.
true. How many days a week are you in the field right now?
5 to 7.
So that leads me to talking about burnout.
Girl.
Is that's kind of what's been going on for you this past year or
Yeah.
so?
I think that's why it's hard for me to think of those positives because
Mhm.
I kind of hit that burnout phase where you're like churning and churning and losing clients and then having to gain that clientele back plus some. It kind of was like I'm not going like this. I'm kind of going like this, right? And it leads to that burnout of like, when am I just going to go like this so that I could kind of not chill, but
Yeah.
just not feel like you're churning for nothing.
Yeah, because we can't do that forever. Like we can do it for a short period of time,
Right.
but then you need to have that time of like rest and to recoup. So I think you have a great plan. You're going to get the vehicle. You're going to give your girl some more hours,
Yes.
so that takes it off your plate. And so maybe you need to have a time of rest so you can regain some clarity, some energy, maybe focus on some like personal work. That's what I did.
100%.
I did some personal work. And so the business didn't grow significantly this year, which is fine because I grew significantly.
Yes.
So 2025, I'm tearing you up.
She's
2025.
gonna tear it up. And I agree with that. I hit a point, and we talked about this,
Yeah.
how I kind of was like, well, it is what it is. Like wasn't trying to get new clients. I wasn't putting that effort in, and I was kind of like complacent. And I don't want to say okay with it, but it just was what it was. But I feel that fire and motivation coming back recently. But you're right. I need to focus on myself.
Yeah.
Even myself out of the business, myself outside of being a mom. I need to make my doctor's appointments, set that time aside, take care of myself in a way that I haven't been doing. Because I put myself on the back burner a lot, and I need to get that back.
And I believe it. I believe you're going to do it. And I think also getting around maybe some other small business owners too,
Yes.
it helps like reignite because
100%.
when we're at home, right, and we're in our day-to-day life,
Mhm.
you're living, mom life, you're a small
Yeah.
business owner, you're a wife, and it's just like the day-to-day grind. And
It's kind of like Groundhog's Day.
yes,
a little bit.
over and over and over again. And that's something because I'm on the heels of a week-long trip. I was in Kentucky and I was around some other small business owners. I got the pleasure of being in the same room and having a conversation with Jonathan Patoshnek, and he was the one that sold Service Autopilot for
Mm.
like an undisclosed amount of
Amazing.
millions of dollars, right?
Good for you.
And the main thing that he was talking about is what you were talking about how we get beat down, like things happen in the business, you lose customers, like with me with the car accident, and then you compromise on what your goals were because you're just so tired. You're so tired. And he really said that you need to do whatever it is that you need to do to reignite that fire that you had in the beginning of the business to get yourself to that next level. Because once you get the people in place that you need, and then Stanley Dirt Monkey said you hire with your heart. Don't hire on skill, hire with your heart. Then business starts to get easier because you can delegate. And I know as women, it's hard for us to delegate. Dreaming of starting your own holiday lighting business? Bright Factory has you covered. Introducing the ultimate holiday lighting business in a box. Get ready to light up your community with everything you need to succeed. A complete brand identity, a sleek website, and fully wrapped trailer jam-packed with supplies and equipment. We're talking top-notch uniforms, eye-catching marketing material, and world-class training. Plus, custom videos for your team to ensure they're ready to shine from day one. Ready to turn your holiday lighting dreams into a reality? Visit brightfactory.com today and let Bright Factory light the way to your success. These men out here got no problem delegating.
Or just not, like, for us, like, we just take initiative, right?
Yeah.
Like, we just do. No one has to tell us what to do. We just handle it.
Except for taking care of ourselves.
But that's literally like everything else comes first. And then we're just like down on the ground.
Right?
Yeah.
And we're just like, what's left of us?
And then you hit that like rock bottom. I don't think I've hit like a rock bottom. I definitely kind of hit that earlier in the year. You get to a point where you're like, I have to take care of myself. No one else is going to do it but me. Everything else will be okay. The business will be okay. My family will be okay. And, my family pushes me to like do the things that I need to do for myself, which I'm super thankful for and grateful to have their support. Because a lot of times, we need that extra, like, go get a massage, go do this, go on this weekend trip to go see all your scooper friends and celebrate your friend getting married, right? Like, my family was like, go have fun, and sometimes you kind of need that.
Yeah. And then
to make the leap.
Not feel guilty about it.
Yeah. And I don't feel guilty.
That's good.
So I have to say, I haven't, because you hear about mom guilt, right? I feel some guilt, but not when it comes to my business, because I know in the grand scheme of everything, I'm doing what is best for my family. And I don't feel guilt when I am working in my business. I know it might seem bad to some people, like, oh, you should feel guilty, to other moms. Like, I've felt comments from other people when I was first started my business, like, I was working on the weekends and working at my job. Well, your daughter, what are you going to do about your daughter? Because she was so young. I'm like, she's going to hang out with her dad.
Yeah.
And bond with her dad,
She's got a whole other parent.
A whole other parent.
A whole parent.
So for any other moms out there, if you want to do something for yourself, just know it's for yourself, but it's also for your family. It's for the greater good. So you do have to make sacrifices, but don't feel guilty about it.
That is so good. I feel like we could do a whole episode on that one.
Let's do it.
We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna wrap this one up. But I don't want to end it until you have something that you're proud of. Like, you have to be proud of something.
We're gonna end it this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. It's tough. It's really tough. I guess not having the mom guilt is something to be proud of, because it happens often, right? I guess just doing what I have to do without that feeling that guilt is definitely something to be proud of. Yeah, you're right.
It is. And taking care of yourself,
Yeah.
and as a woman pushing through and say, we can, if we want to, we can have the career, we can have the family,
Yeah.
we can take care of ourselves.
Well, one other thing is I started therapy.
Did you?
This year.
Let's talk about that for a minute, please.
Well, I'm not going anymore because she moved.
Oh,
couldn't tell me where she was going. But yeah, I actually I had to find a therapist in my network. I had to make the appointment, which is the hardest step sometimes, is making the appointment. It's the first step to better yourself, put yourself in a better situation. But yeah, it was helping. I was seeing my therapist every week virtually, and she was amazing. And it did help me work through things to see like why I am the way I am.
Right.
And it from business to personal, family to childhood, right? Like everything kind of meshes together. So I am proud of myself for taking that step. I do need to find another one, but I took the step to actually help myself.
And therapy it's hard, especially like you said, making that first step, going through that first appointment, and then the first couple months after, because I look at it like this, like you have a closet that's just
Mm.
jam packed full of stuff, and then you start pulling stuff out, and then you look around your room and it's just a disaster,
Mm.
and then you need to go through all of the things to figure out what the issues
Put them in
are.
their piles.
Yep, put it into everything. So it's a work in progress,
Yeah.
and therapy is one of the best things that I did for myself. So please definitely find somebody else.
Yeah.
I really hate that she just like disappeared.
She had to leave. It was a toxic environment. And I
Oh,
guess like ethics, they can't really tell you where they're going next.
gotcha.
But I will find her on LinkedIn, and I will find how to book with her again.
She didn't have your personal number to contact you?
She couldn't.
Dang.
I asked her. I said I could find you, right? And she said yes.
Okay, we'll
So,
do it. We're gonna hold you to
I'm
it.
gonna find you.
We're gonna check back in.
Yeah.
All right, before we wrap this one up, let's do a rapid fire really quick.
Oh boy.
So we have some new subscribers. I gained 270 new subscribers in the last 30 days. So we got newbies.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hi, newbies.
Hi. What is one tip of advice you would give somebody that's just thinking about getting into the business?
As much as everyone says just do it, for me, I did my research, and my research was Erica.
Hi.
So go through all Erica's videos, especially her older videos, right? Like that was when you were still like
I was in it,
the grind
trying
of
to
it.
figure it out.
And that's what motivated me. So I would say do your research and be patient. Have realistic expectations of what your business can become. Yeah, that'd probably be it.
Yeah, and it's okay for the slow growth. Yeah, you might only have one customer for a while, and then
you have to stick it out though. You
Yeah.
have to. If you really want this, you have to go through those growing pains of, I only got 2 clients this month. You know, you have just stick it through. I promise it's worth it.
It is, because you'll come out on the other side, and then you'll be able to hopefully travel and look around and see mountains and hang out with people that you've been chatting with on the internet for years.
Yes.
So thank you so
Love
much,
this.
Courtney. This was so
Thank
great.
you so much for
You're
having me.
welcome. All right, you guys, I try to drop a new episode every single Monday. And until next time, bye. Say bye.
Bye.
This was good.
That was fun.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
hope it recorded.
I hope I'm not like
No, these things
mouth breathing.
are nice because they buffer it out.